We've got a Pterygoid Zygo case here, and I'm using the software. I won't be doing these Zygos with XNav, of course, because they're not, I don't think it's FDA approved, but it's still a valuable tool for planning your angles. The software is absolutely amazing, especially when picking MUAs. What I'm planning to do with this case is do 2 Pterygoids, which I will be using XNav with in this case, and then I'm going to do 2 anterior endpoints. Okay, I've got good bone from here to here and here to here for 7 and 10 endpoints, and I'll have to do a Zygo for 3 and 14. That'll be these 2 here. We'll be looking at these areas, and then I'm just kind of playing around with the software in the event, you know, that an endpoint doesn't have good primary stability and I have to do a quad. I looked at placing these 2 implants here, and it's really nice, peace of mind. I call it stress-free implant placement when you're planning implants with the XNav, because I already kind of know the lengths I'm going to be using. I already know the MUAs I'm going to probably be using. I've got the added benefit of coming through here and seeing these angles in 3 dimensions. Of course, I've seen it on the Carestream 9600, but then seeing it in here, it's even nicer to be able to plan in this screen right here, because I can easily just manipulate these implants like so and see exactly what they're doing in real time over here. So XNav really helping out. All right, so, and then of course I can see where I'm at, and I'm gonna use this orange line to rotate my MUA. So right there, that's a 52-degree MUA at that site. And so we've got, you know, a good idea of where we want to be. I might want to put the top platform of that implant just a little bit laying on the crest, and then I can easily adjust into the cheek here and here. So here we are looking at the implant in the cheek right there and there. And that would be looking at it up here, right there. And then this is the MUA coming out of that 52.5. All right, I can lock down that implant. I'm going to look back over at 6. Let me unlock 6, and I'll show you. Here you can see this rotate with that 52.5 right there. All right, now I got, if I do quad Zygos, there we've got 2 anterior, of course the posterior Zygo, and then we've got the Pterygoids here and here. So I've got 8 implants planned. We need 6. This is a helpful tool to help facilitate good placement. Even if you don't use the nav on the Zygos, you get to see it again. So I'm going to go to the lab and let's drill out those Zygos now. Here we are going to look at doing our posterior inferior Zygo. I just planned it out on XNav, and it looks like it's about a 30 millimeter. All right. And so I can go ahead and drill it out on the model first, right there. And there we are with that perforation where we want to be. Okay, maybe a little high here. Maybe I want to take it down a little bit more there. That's probably where I want to be, right there. All right, I can come through to the other side and I can do the same thing and start my purchase here. Okay, and there we go. Again, probably a little high, but I was trying to do it for the screen. All right, got about a 30, 35 right there. Okay, so that's where we would have that number 3. Okay, and then, all right, so here, we'd be coming up in the 6, 7 position, and we'd be shooting right here. I'm gonna make a purchase point. There's our V2 right there, by the way. You can see it's perfect right out there below the orbit, right here. Looking at about a 45, just like I looked at on XNav. Come back on this side, let's do it over here. Make a little purchase point on that number 6, 7 region, entering below the orbit. Of course, in this case, when we reflect, I'm gonna be visualizing the infraorbital rim, and I'll be visualizing this corner so I know exactly where I'm at. I always visualize this when we do in the anterior superior zygote. There we go. All right, looking good. So there's our anterior superior zygote right there. All right, and then to show you where we were, we've already drilled out pterygoids. All right, I already drilled out a pterygoid here. Already drilled out a pterygoid here. There you go. And I've already drilled out the endpoints. Where was I here? I already drilled out that endpoint. Got a good 13 millimeter length there. And this endpoint as well. Okay, got a good 13 millimeter length here. And so, but in the event that these two aren't stable, we can go superior, anterior superior. Let's go get it done in the mouth.